Pyramids is my least favorite Discworld book. It's not bad per se, I just don't feel anything about it. Whenever I try to explain what I mean by a 5 out of 10 ranking, Pyramids is my go-to example because I simply don't have any opinion on it. But why is this? Well, to answer that, we first need to ask ourselves some other questions. Firstly, what is Pyramids? Pyramids is the story of Tepik, the crown prince of Jelly Baby, a kingdom not dissimilar to ancient Egypt. After being sent away to Ankh-Morpork to study at the Assassin's Guild, Tepik returns upon his father's death to take the throne and instate all these cool new modern ideas that he learned from the big bad city. Things start to go wrong though when Tepik butts heads with Dios, the traditionalist high priest of Jelly Baby, and when things start to go a bit odd with the latest pyramid project being undertaken in the kingdom. Oh, also something about incest, but just ignore that bit. How does the world of pyramids work? The Assassin's Guild of Ankh-Morpork, while mentioned in previous books, gets a lot of its details explained in this book, particularly with regards to its training program. The guild is based around British public school, in particular fictional works like Tom Brown's School Days, except that it's a school where the students are regularly killed. Rather puts a whole new spin on the song, eh?
Oh yes! My numbers 1, 2, 3. Yes, I easily to learn. I still ABC.
The Assassin's Guild also has a final exam, which consists of an oral test, an obstacle course, and the student's first assassination. This is also the first book to detail Jelly Baby, again as an analog to ancient Egypt, with camels and pyramids and mummies and sphinxes and incest, but just ignore that bit. It is also a kingdom that relies on pyramid power, which leads to the first major issue with the book. As I stated in the last video, New Age mysticism was a frequent source of mockery for Terry Pratchett. However, while Weird Sisters focuses on Wicca and other broad general misconceptions about witchcraft, for Pyramids, Pratchett decided to skewer something a little more specific, that being pyramid power. If you're sitting there scratching your head and wondering what pyramid power is, it's this idea that pyramid-shaped objects possess mystical power and they can alter time and space, improve health, or act as an aphrodisiac.
An aphrodisiac? What would someone like me do with an aphrodisiac? I'm 24 years old. I work in a dating agency and I live with my ma.
Could be worse.
Have you met my ma?
If you're already familiar with all this, then you might appreciate the lampooning of pyramids, but if not, you're going to be scratching that head of yours for a lot longer. This reliance on an obscure, outdated form of New Age woo-woo is easily Pyramid's biggest weakness, causing it to age much more poorly in comparison to other books. However, it isn't the only problem. What does Pyramids have to say? A fair amount, but it's half-formed and not very nuanced. It's not that it doesn't have things to say, just that the things aren't said very well or are so broad that they might as well be meaningless. This is ironic because I would cite Pyramids as the first Discworld novel to express Terry Pratchett's unique philosophy of angry idealism. This idea that human beings are miserable, spiteful bastards, but ultimately worth saving. Throughout Tepik's reign, he constantly faces obstacles from people being petty, short-sighted, or just plain dim. But even so, he continues to believe that Jelly Baby can modernize and overcome its slavery to tradition. What this angry idealism positions itself against, though, is still largely the work of a single man, an evil high priest whose defeat leads to Tepik's desired reforms going through easily. The anti-authoritarianism present in Pyramids is so broad and basic it's essentially just a young king clashing with his senior advisor. Social orders are not so much challenged as is the direction of a specific ruler, and the system is not so much broken as it is simply under poor management. And when that system is as broad and nebulous as the stock fantasy absolute monarchy, it feels less like Pyramids is saying that you should distrust authority, and more that you should simply distrust the wrong sort of authority, which rather defeats the whole purpose of anti-authoritarian thought in the first place. All in all, Pyramids feels like the beginning of Pratchett's philosophy taking shape, but it is still so new and unformed that it's easy to poke holes in it and to realize that it's not nearly as subversive as it might like to think. Plus, there's the incest, but just ignore that bit. Final verdict. Pyramids isn't good, but it isn't bad either. I don't really feel one way or another about it. And if you skipped over it completely, I don't think you would lose out on much. That being said, there are thrills and spills and jokes aplenty, so if nothing else, you'll probably find Pyramids inoffensively enjoyable, even if I can only give it a 5 out of 10. So for now, I'm Mark Akeen, signing off, and I hope you liked this video. If you did and you'd like to see me make more, please leave a like or comment down below, share my video via Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or other means, and subscribe to my channel.
Also, if you have a razor that has dulled, instead of going out and buying a new one, why not put it under a pyramid? It will be razor sharp by morning, and then with the money you have saved, you can go over to Amazon and purchase my book, The Song of Morian Mercy and Monsters, in support of my channel. It is only $1. The same price you would pay at Dollar Shave Club, and if I sell 200 copies of it, I get to write more. So head on over and put your razor money to better use. Thank you all, and I will see you in the next one.